everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Big Bear and we're gonna continue with the same series. Today we're gonna keep working on Priston Town. So in the last video I showed you how to make the skill area on the server side. Today I'm gonna show you how to do it on the client side. The difference between the server and the client is the client control mostly like just what you see in the screen. It will not really affecting too much to your gameplay. Like if you don't care about like your ability is supposed to do like 10,000 damage and on the screen it only show you like 10 damage. If you don't care about that, it doesn't matter. But again, if you want to release it like as an private server, and then you want other people to take a look at your skill and they're gonna be confusing, why is my skill showing up like with a small number and then the damage is so big, right? So this video gonna show you how to do that. Also, like on the client side for this game, is also control something like skill duration. So if you change the skill duration in the server side, it will not affect it too much on your client side. But if you change the skill duration on the client side, more likely it's gonna last way longer if you prefer to make the skill last longer. All right, so let's go. We're gonna start it now. I'm gonna turn on my games and let's log in here. So I already changed some skill on the client side, and this is what's gonna happen. Let me log into my client in here. My skill over here is like, you see the big number 344 over the damage boost is 576%, really big number. My MB use is only 1, and with kind of the use of the mana reduction potion, my skill doesn't cost any mana at all. But as you can see that when the game loading in, we got disconnected from the server. Is it because like the client side have a check if like if some of your skill number is not matching like some of the secret value or whatever it is. I don't even know what that is, but I just know it have a check, and if it's not really matching those number, it will disconnect you from the server. It's kind of like an anti cheat or hack from the client side. Okay, so again, we're gonna try to looking for a way to go over this check and make the thing work. Okay, so let's turn this off. In this video I'm gonna use an extra software called HXD. It's basically a hex editor. You can just Google it and download it. It's very simple and it's free too, so good one to use. So now I'm gonna open my client. You just go into the folder that you put it in there and open the client exe file. Just go on that. Now let's say we're gonna do the similar thing. Remember in last video we do some array of byte to find some fixed value, right? I'm gonna look for those value in here. Okay, and press Ctrl F, and then I search for the hex value over here. For this skill, I remember. So what I changed is to like I just adding like a 2 to the second byte. That increased my number to a very big number from. So we have 10 over here. The base value for the skill should be like 10%, 16% at level 2. I cannot really read this number right here, 16%. So this is about 22% at level 3, and it keeps going on that way, right? And what I do is at a 2 to every single level, so that from like 10% it's gonna this one gonna be written at 208, which mean about equivalent to 552 something, if I remember it right. So we just keep doing that way, right? And just in case that you need to looking for some of the skill information, you can just Google it, Priston Town skill. Let me move my screen over so you can see, right? And usually the first thing showing up over here, because we use EBT, so we're gonna use this default value in here, and then I go for night. Right, going down, I'm looking at the skill named Brandish, right? And I see the damage boost in here, 10, 16, 22, 28, right? So that's what I'm gonna put in here, 10. and then 16 is 10 in hex, and 22 is 1, 2, too many zero. Okay, but again, because I changed the value already, right, so I added a 2 to every second byte like this. I'm gonna put this in here. Alright, and let's remove the access. This is basically the thing that I used to search before, and it's still in the history, but we're gonna remove most of them now to make it easier for you to keep track of everything. So if you're working on a default one, it should not have any two. It's gonna be like 0A and then 0, 0, 0, 0, and then the next one gonna be 10, and then 000 pack again, and 16 and 000 pack, and you should be able to find the scale over here. This is the area of the game file where it define my branded scale damage. Okay, sometimes you might see something different because they might come up with like multiple value. What I usually do is that I check the error before and after this. So far I noticed that usually after the range and the damage, it's gonna be the mana, right? And remember that I showed you earlier, the mana was 1, right? So I had 10 pack of 1 over here. So these are the mana requirement, and so that I know that I'm at the right spot. Okay, and remember that at level 10 we had like 576% damage boost. That double check this last pack right here, and you see that we have 556 in the 4 byte, which is integer 32 over here, 556. So I know that now I'm at the right spot. All right, so what I'm gonna do over here, I'm gonna click where we at the level 10 because our skill is at level 10, and if your skill at level 1, you might want to stay at level 1, which is this first pack of 4 right here again. So now let's wait. This should be this one right here. Okay, sorry. So depend on your level. So level 1, level 2, here, level 3, right? Next one will be level 4, and again we're gonna go to level 10 right here. And then I'm gonna read the offset right here, 3F8A2C. Okay, I'm gonna go to my cheat engine, add address manually. All right, I'm gonna call the process, and I'm gonna add the offset 3F8A2C because this is a fixed value, and then I call this one branded damage level 10. All right, we have one already. Let me remove the other one. So thing look a little bit less confusing in here. All right, so now we have this one. Let's turn on our games again. Again, it will crash because we didn't create you know, like a bypass for that check yet, but let's say we don't know, you know, like where is that bypass, so we need to look for that first. And I'm going to attach my games into over here, log in. All right, back to my game mode here. You can see it loading the 576 number over here. So the skill loaded. We're gonna right click on that one, and you're gonna go to find out what access to this address. Click yes, and now we have this thing over here. We're gonna wait over there and log into the game. I'm gonna log into my Ignite, and now we wait. Okay. We see something popping up. This is like when the game load is just the function loading thing. Now we see the disconnection, and as you see that disconnection message, we see like a new instruction popping up over here, and it keep ticking. So this thing gonna do like a constant check, right? Just keep running until we close the game. And with this one, we know that as long as this function is happening in here, right, the game gonna crash or disconnect because like we violate something to the server rule, okay, our client rule. All right, so now we're gonna go to this function right here. We show this assembler, and you're gonna see a bunch of stuff like this. All right, don't be scared yet, okay? This thing is not as complicated as it looks. what I notice is that when I get into this function right here, okay, let me pull it down a little bit. I notice you see that a whole bunch of add EIX to something over here, right? A long list, and then it's go to some like check whatever here, then it go to another list of add, and then something check over here, then another list of add, and the same thing again. And I notice that there's about like 11 of this repeating stuff over here. So what does that 11 mean over here? In this game we have 11 character, right? 10 or 11 something, I think. Let me count. Right, 9 magician, priest, Atalanta, pikeman, mechanician, at 6 fighter, archer, 8 shaman, 9 what is that, some assassin, 10, and then martial artist 11. So about 11 character, right? And we have 11. Wait, darn it. I need to turn off my game for you to see this part. Okay, so when this function right here we showing up, and we see a bunch of kind of like add stuff like that, it's going down here, and then just keep going with a lot of checking here. So there's about 11 of them going around, and that again, that kind of similar to the number of characters that we have. So which means that the game's gonna run through like all the character check, and then to make sure like all the data is staying good, or maybe like it check to some whatever thing, I don't know. But anyway, after I run through, you know, all the way down to all of these add thing, right, we just keep scrolling down, and I get to another part of this function where we don't see a bunch of adding thing anymore. And basically down here I see a return, which is when you see a return, that means that the end of that function. Okay, so from this part over here all the way down here, a little bit down, the function might extend a little bit, but like basically we're gonna have some check over here for the end of the function. Okay, so what you normally gonna do, you're gonna do kind of like you're gonna toggle a breakpoint, and you just run every single line all the way from that top down here. Okay, and then you're gonna see like the behavior of thing you're gonna do, like before and after you do the change to your skill, to see the difference. What I notice is when this thing running the check, right, when we do not edit any skill, the function gonna go all the way over here, this part right here, and it's gonna jump down here. Okay, now when we editing the skill, right, this jump will not be executed. Okay, and then it eventually gonna call this thing right here, and basically this function is kind of like what popping up the connection loss with the server for if you do like a backtrack on if you do a string search on connection loss with the server for, and then you do the backtrack, eventually like you're gonna see that it's gonna lead you to this point. Okay, but that a quite complicated process, so I prefer to go this way, even it's long, it takes a little bit of time, but it's very simple. Again, so again, when I go over here, I see that, you know, when the skill is not, you know, when all the skill are in default, right, we get to this part right here and we jump over here, and this part right here will never be called. Okay, but when we change the skill and we come to this part right here, right, it's gonna go into these 3 lines inside this part over here, and basically after this function is called, it will pop up the connection lost with server, and again after that it disconnected us from the server. So what we're gonna do over here, there's a few things we can do. You can either like delete this whole function here by just replace with code that does nothing. So we're just gonna do like 1, 2, and 3. We're gonna do something like that. So we're gonna knock all of them. Okay, let's restart them. You can just, instead of make, because like we want this jump to be executed, right? So instead of put a jump or equal over here, we're gonna change it to a jump, something like this. Okay, Now there's a problem when the game, because the game already closed now, you know, the next time you open, this one gonna return to where it was, which is a jump if equal, right? So we need a way to permanently changing this. You can do this with cheat engine by making a script like I do over here. So when I activate the script, you see that it changed the jump to equal to a jump. Okay, that one way. Now let's say if you want to release this in, you know, share it to your friend, any other people to play it, and then you don't want them to like install a third-party program to your games. You can either make a DLL, or you can either kind of like create a trainer from cheat engine and run it at kind of like an independent program. But the easiest way is just look at this part right here, right? We see that this part is game matters game.exa plus D7395. Okay, what did this offset do? Well, remember we use hxt to find the scale, so we can also use this one to edit that part in the games. So I'm gonna press Ctrl G, that one we're gonna go to, and let's see if we're gonna go to that part D7395. So click D7395 and you press OK. It's gonna bring you to that region. So we're gonna double check where we D7390 here 1 2 3 4 5, and you can see here we have 7408. Okay, take a look at this sample view over here. We see 7408. Okay, so now in here I'm gonna change this jump if equal to jump, right? And as you see, after I change that, this number changing too. We have EB08, so EB is going to be converted to a jump, right? And that's what we're going to do over here. We're going to do E. Wait, the game is running, so I cannot change it. Need to close the game first, and then I want to change this one to EB. Okay, so now we permanently create a jump over there. Let's save it and then turn on the game again. Alright, so let me turn on my games right here, and then we log into the game and then log to my CNI again. Alright, now we back into the games, and let's take a look at the memory view first. Let's hide these. Touch. And remember, we used to see that a jump or equal. Now it's a jump because we changed it in hxt, which means we changed the hex value at that offset. Right now, things have changed, and you see that in my games. Let me turn on my games again. That I do not have that disconnect message anymore. All right, so now I can start hitting stuff. Oh, it's on delay. See that? So no longer any silly stuff anymore. Why is my powder? Well, doesn't matter. Just gonna hide this thing here. All right. So anyway, that is how you do the change on the server side. Again, you can just do this very similar thing that you do on the server side. Just on the client side, you need to add an extra step that you're gonna bypassing the anti-cheat, anti-hacking check on the client side. All right, so thank you for watching. I will see you next video.